We are here now with famed 3D chalk artist who does amazing 3D chalk art and street painter, Tracy Stum. She is commissioned the world over to do works for advertising, events, corporations, for education, which is phenomenal that you use this for educational purposes. She's here today to reveal the illusion of 3D chalk art. And I think this is magic.
Yes,
happening before
magic.
our very eyes. I am blown away by this. Ladies and gentlemen, take a gander at what is now our driveway. Look at this picture. Is that amazing?
Wow.
I can't believe I'm standing here and looking at this.
It was once your driveway.
It was
now
once
it's a work of art.
Now we have art.
She was here yesterday. I saw this beautiful lady sitting on our driveway, just so, drawing, and this is what you made. This is what happened today.
Take a look. We want to show you a piece of video on how this comes together, and then we want to ask you the magic behind it. Take a peek. So, as we're watching, our audience can hear us. So what? You just start going and lay this stuff out.
Well, actually, I've created an outline, and I started with that, and then you can see I started at the top, and I'm starting to fill in with color as I'm moving down. The reason I do that is that I don't want to step on the artwork once it's finished. So I just, really just kind of start here and keep going down, and that's it.
Can I? Oh, you have in your hand this is your sketch. Isn't that beautiful? We come out to this. I don't know if you can do a push in on this to see. This is what the sketch looked like. Tracy, we can hold that on that side.
Sure, absolutely.
So you start what, on a piece of paper? Is that where this whole originates? In your mind? Where?
Yeah, actually it starts in my mind, and then I start jotting it down on paper, do a little couple of thumbnail sketches really quick, and then something formulates and becomes a real idea.
No, just something formulates like that.
Yeah, how do you figure out where the shading goes to make it look three-dimensional?
Well, that is one of the tricks that you have to learn. To do this properly, you have to understand where lighting hits the drawing, where the shadows fall, how to render the objects so they're believable in 3D.
When did you start doing this?
Oh gosh, I started doing this about 15 years ago, and I found street painting by accident at a festival in California, at the Santa Barbara Street Painting Festival. Thought it was the coolest thing I'd ever seen, and said I'm going to do that. Next year I did, and it's been a love affair ever since.
Yeah, but you took it to a different level. I mean, you've made these huge murals, and you're in the Guinness Book of World Records.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a passion, and I push myself in every drawing that I do, and just keep trying to learn more and more things out of it.
So let's talk about some of the techniques that creates this illusion.
Sure. Well, the first thing that you need to know about 3D chalk drawings are that they are meant to be viewed through a camera lens specifically. So a lot of people have seen them on the internet, but that's through a camera, a photo. Yeah. So it's designed from one point in space, and that's where the viewer's eye is. So that's what creates the illusion. If you move away from that at any given point, it becomes a distorted drawing.
So that is, when you say that, because I could stand at a certain point, you asked me to, you said cover an eye, and I could see the illusion that happened at that point. But that lens is at a certain height, a certain distance from this subject?
Yes, absolutely. You create the distance from the drawing where you want the viewer to stand, or the camera, and the height, and that is where you're going to actually see the illusion, where the image is popping up or dropping down.
It's really bizarre, because as you move, you're like, there it is, and it all of a sudden sits up and
well, the shading is still how do you figure out how to like the water, and how do you figure out how to put the colors where they are, and shading?
Well, the interpretation is the artistic license that I take in my pieces, but certainly when I design a piece like this, I want to be conscious of my environment. Where is the sun? How are the shadows going to fall? How do I shade this so it's a believable piece? And as earlier today, we looked at the drawing, and you could stand with your hands on it to make it look like you're actually part of this piece. So
I noticed something. I don't want to reveal anything that I maybe shouldn't, but I looked. one of the things I saw was her ear.
Yeah.
And there's a little indentation in the concrete there. And did you make that work for you? Is that
No, I did not plan that, but it just wound up there, and that happens to me a lot in my drawings. I just put a drawing down, and something serendipitously winds up in the right place, so I'm lucky that way.
But if you see this in person, the head is unusually large.
That's right. The head is elongated. In fact, everything, as you're moving away from that viewing point that I've established in the back, as you move further away, it becomes more and more distorted, more and more elongated. So oftentimes, if a head is coming out to here, it'll be very narrow, very long.
So we had fun with this earlier, and Christina and I, we have a photo of this when we were in rehearsal where we put ourselves into the painting. Or
Look at
into
that.
this particular piece of
So
art,
cute.
and we tried to fit in as well as we could, and it's just
It's terrific. You guys did a great
that,
job.
From that perspective, it looks like we were all sitting outside our brand new pool.
That should be our Christmas card this year.
Yes, you're hanging out with Rita.
Can anybody do this, or do you have to be like mathematically, artistically inclined? Because it seems that's where the intersection is in this.
I think that if you have a desire for this, it's then you can do it. Certainly, learning the techniques is important. Not everyone, has affinity for this art form. It's definitely a very challenging physical art form. But if you're interested in learning, I actually teach how to make 3D chalk drawings. I have a free how-to video on my homepage of my website.
Which is your website
It's www.tracyleestum.com. I also have an ebook, a Kindle book that's available. It's on 3dstreetartstore.com.
And do you start with, like, you could teach my children, or you just have to go, here's how you make a masterpiece 35 feet long? Is it step by step?
Yes, it's step by step. I like to start with rudimentary things first, and once you get adept at that, then you can start moving to the more complicated images.
What, and any kind of chalk?
Chalk pastels, it's just artist chalk pastels, soft pastels.
Do you have to be an artist though to know how to do this?
You
are an artist. You are a master at images.
Well, it's what I do, but certainly if you have a desire and you have a team and you want to make something creative, you can do this.
I'm gonna try that.
I can
I
teach
was
you.
so bad in school, they sent me to clean out the erasers always. I should have made chalk out. I took the eraser dust. The chalk dust and made
3D
that.
art.
HallmarkChannel.com/Home and Families, where you can find all the information on Tracy Lee Stum's book, which is and her website. Go to tracyleestum.com, and you can also visit her at about.me/Tracy Lee Stum.